The bike literally started as a joke, but at one point it stuck and we realized, wait a second, the technology of where the batteries are today really lend themselves to a motorcycle, and that's probably a great place to start, and that's what led us to today.
Early days at Brammo, the thinking was very different. So what we actually started with was the idea of building production, high-performance supercars, gas-powered supercars.
And we were going to build a car hopefully comparable to the McLaren F1, but based on modern technology, and try to do it for a very low capital intensity, as opposed to McLaren that spent $50 million doing it.
We had the idea that we could build a supercar that would fit an American athlete and have something that was different than anything else that was on the market, because most of your professional athletes that can afford a sports car can't necessarily fit into your average Ferrari or Lamborghini.
Along the way we learned a lot, and we started building a car called the Aerial Atom based on the Chevy Ecotec.
We built the Aerial Atom for the US and North American market, built about 130 of those cars.
And we learned a lot about lightweight materials and performance, and so we explored electric.
Seeing the benefits of a lightweight sports car and looking at electric propulsion in that car, and kind of cut our chops on understanding electric technology that way.
And then we realized that two wheels was a lot easier start than raising billions of dollars to start a car company, so we really focused on that.
What is the optimal vehicle platform for an electric drivetrain, and came away with the idea that really we should be building electric motorcycles.
When we first set out to build the Inertia, we knew that it wasn't going to make sense to just take out a gas drivetrain and put it in electric, so we started with a clean sheet of paper.
The Inertia was literally a napkin sketch that we decided, hey, well, it seems like a good idea. Why don't we build a prototype and then talk about it some more and see if it's really the direction we want to take the company.
We looked at what's the optimum setup for an electric motorcycle, packaging around batteries, and that's really how the Inertia was born.
On the one hand, being an electric bike comes with this stigma of being slow or dorky, but the benefit and advantage that Brammo had looking at the problem was that we're performance nuts here.
One of the things we set out early on was to try to push the limits of where the technology was, to learn about the technology, and so we decided to go racing. And we realized that the kind of historic opportunity was going to be around the Isle of Man. It was kind of our moonshot, if you will. We had kind of a single shot to get credibility in the space, or be just considered, you know, those electric engineer guys.
We saw it as a challenge, but also an opportunity to try to change perceptions and bring something different to market.
When we first built the Inertia, we were almost thinking like this is a transportation appliance, right? Because it wasn't going to go 120 miles an hour, and it wasn't going to do some of the things that you think of with a motorcycle.
The feedback from customers was, hey, the bike's great, love the experience, I want more range, and I want more performance, more top speed, and so we gave them all of those things.
We knew that the bikes had to have machine lust, they had to be cool looking, they had to have great acceleration, and they needed to be a blast to ride. And that's what we set out to do. By pushing on racing, it has allowed us to bring the technology to the street.
Our new production bike really continues on that theme, except we push the limits even further.
The Impulse is a direct descendant of the bike that went around the TT.
So the Impulse is capable of 110 mile an hour top speed, over 100 miles range, and it checks all the boxes for what a motorcycle enthusiast is looking for. It's got top-level components. The styling is great. You know, it stands out in a crowd, and it's just a very engaging and fun bike to ride, owing a lot to the fact that it's got the 6-speed integrated gearbox.
The fact that you can downshift into a turn made it just like any other bike, but what's cool about that is it actually is putting energy back in the batteries. It went from something instead of a motorcycle to another motorcycle that just happens to be electric.
We're here at our Ashland, Oregon headquarters. All aspects of the company are housed in this one building. We're sitting on the production line. This is where all of the Empulse and Empulse R bikes are built for the North American, European, and Asian market. We have a very, very lean operation. This assembly line essentially makes a U around me, and through 5 assembly stations, the bikes get built in a matter of about 2 hours from start to finish. On the other side of the production wall, we have our engineering facility, so we keep engineering and R&D very, very close to the production line, which has a lot of benefits. One, the engineers get a sense that what they're designing will make it to production, and it is very important. And 2, of course, if there's ever any kind of problem that requires engineering support on the production line, the engineers are literally on the other side of a door. One of the greatest things about working at Brammo as a small company and with the focus that we have is the pride of ownership that myself and my team has over the products that we've developed.
One of the things that we've done with an amazing team here is the bike is really well balanced. It handles great for a gas bike or electric bike. It's a great bike and happens to be electric. And I think that's the thing people walk away with is, oh my gosh, this is a real product for real consumers. It's not a prototype. It's not a one-off. This is something that I could have and own.
We have both the biggest sense of accomplishment with what we have today, but also the biggest sense of a mission to be fulfilled in the future.